Let's learn some Spanish. Spanish language course for English-speaking students.
Lección introductoria. El alfabeto y su pronunciación. Introductory lesson. The alphabet and its pronunciation. Hola. In this introductory lesson, we are going to study the Spanish alphabet and the pronunciation of its main phonemes. This will allow you to get a feeling of how the Spanish language sounds, and it will also help you pronounce correctly almost every word. It is commonly said that Spanish is read as it is written. Therefore, once you know how to pronounce a letter, that same pronunciation will apply to all the words that present that same letter. I hope you'll enjoy this lesson. Lección introductoria. Introductory lesson. El alfabeto. A. It is always pronounced wide open, as in árbol, tree, casa, house, almohada, pillow. B. As in barba, beard, billete, banknote, ticket, barco, ship. C. This letter can be pronounced in two ways, depending on the vowel that follows it. C plus O, U, and A is pronounced like K. Cosa, thing. Cuando, when. Cara, face. C plus E and C plus E is pronounced like Th, as in cine, cinema, cena, dinner, cera, wax. Che. It's pronounced ch, so its pronunciation does not differ from the one in English. As examples, we have chico, boy, and chocolate, chocolate. De, as in dedo, finger, nada, nothing, todo, everything. E, as in elefante, elephant, tenedor, fork. F, as in fuego, fire, final, final, end, feria, fair, funfair. G. This letter has two pronunciations depending on the vowel that follows it. For example, G plus A, G plus O, and G plus U is pronounced like G, as in these examples: gato, cat, gota, drop, gusto, taste. The other pronunciation is stronger, H, and that pronunciation occurs when it is followed by E and I, as in the examples we have here: gente, people, girar, turn. At this point, you may wonder, how is it possible to pronounce the sounds ge and gi
in Spanish. For those two sounds, you have to add a u in the middle of the ge and the vowel, as in guerra, which means war, and guitarra, which means, of course, guitar. H. This letter is never pronounced in Spanish. It is never aspirated. Let's have a look at these examples. Hacer, to do, to make. Zanahoria, carrot. Y, as in imaginación, imagination. Intento, intent. Jota. This letter is identically pronounced as the letter G when it is followed by E and I. Remember? Gente, girar. Let's have a look at these examples. Jamón, ham. Jabón, soap. Hoja, leaf, sheet of paper. So it is similar to the English H, but it is a bit stronger. Compare jamón and ham. And although stronger, do not try to stress it too much, like jamón, jabón, hoja. It is not like that. It's jamón, jabón, hoja. It may take a little training to get accustomed to it, but once you do, you will find that it is easy. Ka. This letter is pronounced identically to th plus a, o, u. Remember? Casa, cuando, cosa. Okay, let's have a look at this example we have here. Kilimanjaro, which is the Mount Kilimanjaro in English. Kilo, kilo. This letter is not very often used in Spanish, as the sound k is already covered by th plus o, u, a, and also q, which is the English q. L, leer, to read. Ala, wing. Lavar, to wash. Y, elle, as in llave, key, llevar, to carry, to take, and llover, to rain. As an aside, we can say that this letter, or this digraph, because it's composed of two letters, but it's considered as one, is pronounced differently depending on the region. For example, in Mexico, it can be pronounced a bit stronger, like llover, instead of llover, as in Spanish, in Castilian Spanish, the Spanish variety of the Spanish language. And in Argentina, it can be like llover. It's even stronger. Despite these differences that might seem big to the ear of an English native speaker, Spanish native speakers from any country can understand each other without any problem. These differences are perceived by Spanish native speakers as variations of the same phoneme, allophones, and not as different phonemes. In this course, we will stick to the Castilian Spanish variety of the language, which is traditionally considered the highest standard in most books and methods, and will allow you to communicate in any Spanish-speaking country. Let's continue with our letters and phonemes. M, mesa, table. Misa, mass. Camisa, shirt. N, nosotros, we. Nada, nothing. And now we have got to the pride of the Spanish language, its little baby, the letter ñ. Just pay attention to its pronunciation and try repeating it several times. You will see it's not difficult to pronounce at all. Ñ, niño, child, cañón, cannon. O, as in cocina, kitchen, coche, car. P, pero, but. Perro, dog, parar, to stop. Q. This letter, Q, is pronounced like a K, or K in Spanish. K. It is almost always followed by either UE or UI, being the U in the middle never pronounced. Let's have a look at these examples so that you can see it clearly. Querer, to want. Quebrar, to break. Quitar, to remove. Never say querer, quebrar, quitar. Never. That U in the middle between the Q and the vowel E or I is never pronounced. Let's go to our next letter and phoneme. R, R, R. This letter is pronounced R when it is in the middle of a word. If it goes in initial position, or if it is followed by another R in middle position, it will be pronounced like R, so it will be rolled. You will never find the cluster double R at the beginning of a word, because of the simple reason that just one R at the beginning of the word is pronounced like two R's in the middle of the word. All these sounds a bit tricky, but let's have a look at the example so that you can see it clearly. You see the first word, ratón, which means mouse. There we have an initial R. That can never be pronounced as ratón. It has to be rolled, ratón. It takes a bit practice to master the pronunciation of the rolled R or R. Try to pronounce it as if you were imitating the sound of a motor. To do that, put the tip of your tongue on your alveoli and then expel the air forcefully. Let's try it again. Now let's have a look at the examples. Ratón, mouse. Ahora. You see, in ahora, which means now, the R is not rolled. So it is softer. It is just one D, not several dr. Ahora. Then we have the verb to save, which is ahorrar. Ahorrar. I know this strong or rolled R is a bit cumbersome to pronounce at the beginning for English native speakers. If you feel that you have difficulties in rolling it correctly, just practice the engine imitation exercise. Rrr, rrr, rrr. You know, practice makes perfect. S, as in silla, chair, sopa, soup. T, as in tren, which means train, tomate, which means tomato or tomato, and patata, which means potato. U, as in uva, grape, uno, the number one, cumbre, summit, V, vaso, glass, vino, wine, vida, life. Sometimes the pronunciation of ube and be is the same. But the most correct thing is just to try to make the difference the same way it is made in English. The ube would be labiodental, v, and the b would be bilabial, b. Just know that if you don't make the difference between these two, nobody would notice or care, and that you would be understood correctly. W. This letter happens very seldom in the Spanish language, and it almost always comes from foreign words, especially from English precisely. So it imitates the English pronunciations on words like Washington or whiskey. But as I say, it's not very often that we are going to find it. X, xilófono, xylophone, saxophone, saxophone. Y, as in ya, already, or yo, which means I. Just notice that it is pronounced a bit stronger than elle. Remember, llover, llamar. But in this case, with the y, we say ya, yo. It is a bit stronger. It's more fricative. Theta. This phoneme is not strongly pronounced. It is not z. It is th, like in Zaragoza, which is the name of a city, or zumo, which means juice. This sound exists in English, for example, in words such as thunder, thorn. Nevertheless, if for some reason you have difficulties in pronouncing it, just put the tip of your tongue on your upper teeth and expel the air somewhat forcefully. Th, 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 th.
Well, we have just learned how to pronounce the letters of the Spanish alphabet. You are now almost ready to pronounce correctly any Spanish word. I know there are some phonemes which do not seem easy in the beginning, such as J, which is a bit stronger than the aspired H, and R, the double R, which requires a rolling to which most English speakers are not accustomed to. There is a nice trick that will help you pronounce the J. It is as follows. Put your index finger on your throat like this. Then pronounce a strong H. Try several times until you notice your throat vibrates slightly. Let's go with the R. Do you remember the trick to pronounce the double R or double R? R. Put the tip of your tongue on your palatal alveoli, which are a bit farther back from your upper teeth. Then expel the air forcefully so that your tongue vibrates. Remember the motor imitation exercise? You can do this several times until you feel comfortable producing this sound. Drr, 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 drr. Raton, rata, rato. Let's now try pronouncing the following words. Jarra, which means jar, mar. Raja, which means crack or cut. Rojo, which is the color red. Reja, which means bars, grill. Rioja, which is a region in the north of Spain. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. See you in lesson 1.